Welcome to Bikers and Backroads, a podcast about all things Harley Davidson. We're your hosts, Jason and the Big Z, so sit back and join us as we go into this week's episode of Bikers and Backroads. What's up, everybody? Thanks for downloading the most recent episode of Bikers and Backroads. We're Jason and the Big Z. We're back with you again. And you can find us anywhere you're listening to audio podcasts on any platform, Podbean, Apple iTunes. We're on Amazon Music. We're everywhere. You can also, as you're looking at us, you can see us on YouTube. We are at Instagram and on TikTok at Bikers and Backroads. And we are on Twitter or X at BNB_pod. So you can find us, you can interact with us, you can shoot us messages, do whatever. We're just happy to hear from you. We hope we've got something to offer you. Because like we say, whether you've got your first new Harley or you're just dreaming of owning one, we think we've got something to offer you with a couple different perspectives. Something from a seasoned rider and a new guy just getting into this culture that is also passionate about what he does. So what's going on, man?
Not much. Long week. Pretty much everybody going back to work and getting back into the rhythm with the new year. Excited for the weekend. Good to have some time off again, but rolling into this new year, looking, pretty good, keeping heads up, and yeah.
Yep. Well, typical West Virginia weather. It's been 60 degrees and nice the past couple of days here. It's Saturday, and we have an opportunity to ride, and it is dropping into the 50s and 40s
and pouring
with some rain, and it is expecting snow. Again, we are recording this on Saturday. I believe the day is the 10th. It'll post tomorrow on the 11th. So if you're where we are, you're probably going to be seeing some snow. So no riding was done by us this weekend as much as we want to. We do some in our mind, I guess. So for our first segment today, we're going to talk a little bit about something, safety. And it is overlooked by a lot of people, and it takes you 30 seconds to make sure you're safe. We do a lot of garage installs and works on our bikes. We bought the stuff. We're going to change the oil in our bikes. That's probably next weekend's forte of what we're going to do. We're going to get into that, and we'll put some videos out about that. But we use a solo wheel chalk to keep our bike stable and upright while we're draining fluids and adding fluids. And certain bike models ask you to fill them while they're on the Jiffy stand, or if you're a Harley person, or a kickstand, if you recall anything else. But what's the one thing you hear me harp about? Even though we're putting it in a chalk, and even though it looks like it's stable, what do I always say?
Strap it down. So even the one that we have, which is, like you said, it's just a solo wheel chalk. You run the front tire in, and it flips up as you run it, and it'll hold the bike steady. And, it's probably not going to fall. Might not be the sturdiest of things, but strap it down. It's got the tie-down spots for it already. Go ahead, that just ensures that your bike doesn't fall on you. I mean, depending on what bike you got, you're messing with anything from 200, 300, 400 pounds up to, 800 and 900 pounds, depending on what all you've got on it and everything. So you don't want your bike to fall on you. And then at the same time, you don't want an unnecessary drop on your motorcycle to potentially damage anything. So take the extra 5 seconds or a minute and strap it down, use those tie downs, make sure it's just that much more sturdy, and then you've got less risk involved, and you're going to have a sturdier place to work and not be, hopefully spilling as many fluids or fighting things as bad. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of both hands on a wrench under your bike and it starts teetering and wobbling, the last thing you need to do is be worried about it falling over, hurting the bike, falling onto you, messing up the $150 you just spent on an oil change by dumping those fluids on the ground. You can complicate things quickly when you just dodge that safety thing. And there's lots of people say, how tight do you pull them down? I mean, I'm not saying compress your front forks till the fork seals are in a bind. Just snug everything down so that teeter and that wobble. Even if you use a little, we have a jack that we use a jack, and we always it feels stable, but 2 seconds, 2 little straps around the front, holding it down so it doesn't move, wobble, turnover,
Yeah.
if you get called away, if somebody calls you from in the house, or you got to go help somebody and you're gone for an hour or two, you don't want something to have happened. What if somebody walks in your garage and just looks at your bike or pushes on it? We live in a neighborhood and there's always people walking by our house. You just don't want that chance of somebody or something getting hurt. And we all love our bikes and we don't want them to be busted up, but we also don't want ourselves to be busted up.
Yeah.
So take your time, strap it down.
Yeah, and you said even with the bike lift, we have you put it in the center and it'll jack it up. So a bike jack, I guess, is better. Say, if we're using that, it's usually just like a simple strap around over the seat and on either side, and it just pulls the center of gravity more down onto that, and it does help it make it a little bit sturdier. But yeah, like that's literally 10 seconds. It's one strap.
Yeah.
And some guys goes, like he said, we don't have to jack it down super tight with a ratchet strap. Even if you've got just a little quick, like NRS style or the just pull through style straps, just enough to where if it starts to go one way or the other, you've got something to catch it.
Yeah, like a cam buckle strap, a ratchet strap, anything. I mean, and they're cheap. So don't miss out on a small opportunity to accomplish a big thing in your safety in doing, guys call when you work on your bike and you don't have a lift at your house, you're like doing garage yoga because you're on the floor and you're crawling around under your bike. You're in some precarious situations. Yeah. You don't want your bike falling over.
No.
So the next thing we'll talk about is we're back on parts and upgrades and things. And last week we mentioned that I had gotten some new tires. So today we're going to show, this is the front tire of the new Michelin Commander 3 Cruiser Edition. And I love this thing. It is sticky. It is nice. I can't wait to get it put on. I can't wait to ride that in the spring and summer and put some miles on it. But yeah, that's the tire we're going to run. No, we didn't get them for free. We paid the price. We found them on sale, or Xander found them. It was my Christmas gift from him. So we're going to put some miles on them. We'll give you an honest review. I don't dislike the tires that's on my bike. They're the Michelin, I guess, Scorpions or something like that. They came on my model year bike. They're the factory original tires on it.
Yep.
So it's just time to get them off because tires have a shelf life. And recommendations is a 5-year time stamp on your tires. You should be looking to upgrade those because the compounds break down, and whether you've ridden the miles out of them or down to the wear patterns, again, take your safety seriously and be looking to maintain the proper life and maintenance intervals on your tires. Not that there's intervals, but there are time stamps and things like that. So that being said, you got to lead on some wheels.
I do. Yep, we've got a set of some older wheels that I might be looking into purchasing. That'd be like a second hand. They're factory, 5-spoke style mags. Trying to get away from the spoke wheels. If you've been listening or have seen my bike, it's a 2007 Street Bob. So back then it came with chrome spoke wheels, and not that I hate on them. I just am not the biggest fan of spoked wheels. I'd rather have mags. Like I like the wheels on your 14 Low Rider a lot better. So been searching, had went to, maybe do some like custom style. But we had somebody reach out that sells a lot of OEM Harley parts. So these could be a potential buy, might be looking into them. We've been messaging back and forth. So we'll share how that process goes and eventually get them, maybe clean them up. Who knows, get some tires put on them and then get them on the bike.
I mean, you go looking at rims and you look at custom rims, you're in $25,000 to $3,000 sometimes on wheels. And that's without putting tires on them. So then you're at $3,500.
Absolutely.
With this, it appears we're dealing with somebody who they buy Harleys and either part them out or they've bought them and they build them and then they sell the stock stuff off. It's either a speed shop or something like that we came across. If we end up buying those, we'll give them a shout out, see how our customer service and working out with those guys. So far, I don't see anything bad, but I don't want to just go putting them out there and somebody have a bad If you've had a bad interaction with them, that's fine. But I want to give everybody their due.
Yeah.
And if they take care of us, then I'll relay that on. But if we get those wheels, we got time to get them cleaned up.
Absolutely.
Got time to secure some tires. We'll go ahead and probably put new wheel bearings in them, unless they tell us, hey, we've done that, or they've had wheel bearings in them and they're less than 1,000 miles on these bearings. If it's the shop that took them off or had serviced them and all that stuff, and you're getting them, great. Definitely going to put a new rotor on them. While we do this, we'll change your brake pads.
Yeah.
All this can be great content for our channel, but it's just things we're going to do. So you're not in that big a hurry, but you secure this. You got a couple months to get them all dialed up and dialed in. Give us a little project out in the garage. And
could leave it in pieces for a little while, but it's going to get
It's
done.
not to leave your bike all tore apart, but you can, if we get some nice days, you could ride what you have.
Exactly.
And while we're getting this secured and just getting it all buttoned up could be a Saturday morning project.
Absolutely.
So last week I mentioned that we were going to talk about a little bit of Harley news because the CEO of Ford is on Harley Davidson's board and has been since the Johann Zeitz, the last CEO before Artie Starrs took over. And he relayed a message to Harley Davidson, especially the new incoming CEO, and it was getting some blurb around car industry. People were saying that Ford had said something to Harley, and it wasn't ugly. I mean, you're talking about both companies are founded in 1903. They've ran a gambit of times. There was even a thought at one point that, Ford was trying to buy Harley Davidson or almost push them into a very kind financial decision during the service car. Ford was trying to get Harley Davidson to build a service car and make it to where it was only going to be licensed as a Ford product. Well, in doing so, the thought process of Harley was struggling because it was in, the 20s. The country was in a recession. So the fact of making all the tooling and designing all those parts and then just manufacturing them for Ford, the thought was maybe Harley Davidson would have been bankrupt doing that. And then who sneaks in and buys them up when they're a penny on the dollar? Ford had the money because people were buying cars because they had to. And that's all in lore and some history of Harley if you go looking for that. And it ended up that Harley Davidson backed out of that Ford deal towards right up to the 11 o'clock hour of a 12-hour deal. And they basically went all in, and that was the beginning of the developments of the Knucklehead motor. They took all that and developed the motor that saved them. So until the Evo saved them again. So anyway, but the Ford CEO basically told Harley Davidson, you can't live in the past. Ford can't live in the past.
No.
I mean, he's managing a very successful international global brand. And it wasn't an ugly statement. But basically he said, you can't live in the past and you got to continue advancing your product. But that doesn't mean you got to sell out to who you are originally or what your soul of your company is. Okay, so if you're an outsider and you're looking at Ford Motor Company, what do you think Ford's soul is right now? I mean, just a vehicle. What's a number one vehicle they sell that you see all over the place? And here in West Virginia. Right.
F-150. And I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, if you can't live in the past forever. It's true. You got to keep going and move up and advance in your marketing and advance and sell to the buyer that's today. People today wouldn't buy the Model T pickup truck. That was big then.
You weren't buying a Model A.
But that was what made Ford the Model T truck.
Yep.
And now look now. We have their number one is the F-150, which is the small, full-size, 1500 or F-150, the 1500 series truck. And And yeah, Ford had big trucks and commercial vehicles and stuff, but they were selling the Model T and Model T truck, and now you have the F-150 and the Expedition. You see those everywhere.
Yep. So, but even Ford just recently canceled the F-150 EV Lightning.
Yeah.
I grew up when the F-150 Lightning was a ripper, basically an out-of-showroom drag strip truck, two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, with just a souped-up motor, hopped-up trim, a price tag that not everybody went down and bought it, but everybody that had one of those either still has it or knows where their original one is if it's not in a junkyard. So you've got a guy here that took hundreds of millions of dollars to develop an EV F-150. For the F-150 is part of the heart and soul of who Ford Motor Company is right now. And he said, hey, this ain't working for us. We're not selling enough of these. People don't identify us with an EV truck. Not that EV trucks are bad, but a typical Ford F-150 owner is not standing in the showroom debating on whether they want the EV version or the ICE engine. The internal combustion engine. They are debating on whether they want the V8 or the EcoBoost twin turboed V6.
Yeah.
They're not worried. They're worried about, can I put some payload in it? Can I tow my boat? Can I tow my camper? Will this truck do everything I need to do without having to buy a 2,500 diesel or a bigger gas truck?
Yeah.
It's not, hey, we're going to buy or build. They're not going to run and buy the EV one. So he's looking at Harley Davidson and he's saying, listen, you can do R&D that fails. Be upfront and open with your clients, because Ford recently went through a bunch of vehicle recalls, right? Hey, you're getting your letter. We're bringing your truck in. You're bringing your car in, and we're going to fix it, and we're going to own that this was a problem, and we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
There are as many Harley Davidson motorcycles being bought back right now that you don't hear anything about, because people are getting them, they're getting warranty problems, and they're having to buy these things back, give people new bikes. They're trying to find the problem and resell them as, reconditioned almost, or they've had an issue. They can sell them at a different place with a different, maybe a rebuilt title somehow.
Yeah.
You're not hearing that. We're Harley Davidson people. You don't hear Harley Davidson has recalled 5,000 Pan Americas.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 6,000 Road Glides. We don't hear that.
No.
You can't tell me that a bike that has been redesigned with new tech and new things that people are learning, new infotainment centers, new lighting, new electrical, new motors, new transmission mounts, vented transmissions now, new water-cooled heads versus always being air-cooled, that you're not having an issue that needs a recall.
Yeah.
Or is corporate just sitting there knowing that there's these problems and not taking care of the rider? Which is, again, what Artie Stars is talking about.
Yeah.
We got to get back to taking care of the rider and empowering our dealerships.
Yeah.
So I think that the Ford CEO saying that maybe openly tells the board of directors of Harley Davidson, as well as encourages this new CEO, you don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to admit you've had mistakes. Don't lose your soul, but you got to develop new products, because times change. If younger people are going to get into bikes, a younger person right now that's getting into their bike in their 20s may expect more out of a bike in their 30s than I expected in my 30s. Because I haven't had a bike yet that has all the navigation and track modes and all that stuff. I ride an analog Dyna, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. So the guy who's coming up on Harley right now, that's replacing the baby boomers going out.
Yeah.
And maybe baby boomers don't love all the new tech. The 20-something-year-old is demanding that because they're used to having it in their hands all the time.
Yeah.
So you still have to R&D and develop products that helps usher in a new generation of Harley Davidson owner. But I think you look at the solos, that way you can reach back a little bit to your hardcore Harley guys, 45 to 60s, 55s. I mean, I'm almost 50. I like some tech, but I don't have to have it.
Yeah.
I like, if I'm going to change my seat anyway, I'll buy the Solo. I'll put my own foot pegs on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
I can save $2,000 off a sticker and put $400 in a seat or $500 in a seat, and I can put $200 in foot pegs and foot peg mounts, and I'm still $1,200 to the better.
Yeah.
And then I can upgrade my bars or something like that.
Yeah.
I can spend the same amount of money and build that to what I want.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I think they need to run with the solos a little bit more. Like it shouldn't. I don't think it should be only one color. Offer it in the bring the solo in all the colors and still give it the same markup for the paint job, because there's a guy out there that wants that paint, but like you said, doesn't need all the tech. So he's willing to pay the $1,000 extra for a specific paint color, like the two-tone blue and black, vivid black and teal.
The Thunder Teal?
Yeah, the Thunder Teal.
Teal Thunder or whatever it is.
Somebody out there is, like you said, they don't need all the thing, but they love that color. Me personally, I would pay that little bit extra for that paint job because I love that paint job. I've seen it in person at Black Sheep and loved it. Just as much as when I saw it on the photos in person. That doesn't do it. It doesn't do it any justice. It's way beautiful in person.
Yep.
I would take that Solo and do the same thing you did. But if you could get the Solo in all of the colors, I think it would be worth the money and worth your while. Because even me, like you said, you ride an analog. I've never had a bike with a speedometer before. My Dyna is my first road bike, so this is the first time I've had a speedometer, let alone gauges that tell me, my oil pressure is good and all that stuff. Other than that, I'm still riding and shifting off sound. I don't have a tachometer on my street bob, so that's not, tech. Like, I've never had a bike with ABS.
Yeah.
And my bike doesn't have ABS. This is my first fuel-injected motorcycle. On dirt, everything I had was carbureted because I was a two-stroke guy. And two-stroke, now there is fuel-injected two-strokes. I mean, KTM's doing it, but I didn't have a 2023 KTM when they brought it out. So, yeah. I mean, basically, I'm just adding to what you say. The Solos could be something that you run with.
I think, well, look at even Ford. There aren't any Ford sedans anymore. You've had the Taurus, you've had the Fusion, you've had the whatever. All those cars, they're gone. All you got's a Mustang.
Yeah.
And then you got some SUVs and some trucks.
That's what sells today. And they're even, if anybody is into cars and they know the market, Ford has sold a car over in Europe, that Ford Everest. It's never been in the American market, but America's wanted it forever and ever. It would combat the Toyota 4Runner. It's that same kind of style of off-road-ish SUV, that same, size, I guess. Now there's all this word that, hey, this might be coming to America in 2026 or 2027. So that's them listening and selling to the market. They never thought that would sell over here in America. Our vehicles are usually a lot bigger than anywhere else in the country. I mean, if you take or anywhere else in the world, our country likes big vehicles, but everywhere else in the world has smaller roads. I guess the only other place that really would combat us is maybe Australia. They love American trucks over there. They pay to get the Ford F-150s and everything, sent there and everything. So Ford's listening and trying to bring to market a vehicle that a lot of Americans think would be good.
Well, so I think you got them getting ready to release the Sprint for Harley.
Yeah.
And that bike is based loosely off of one that's been selling overseas for a while. It's like the bike that they work with Hero over in India or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But it's 440 cc or something like that. Will it sell here? I don't know.
Me neither.
But you can't be afraid to fail.
No.
And the Road King. I love a Road King. You love a Road King. But if I'm a company and I look that Road King sales are terrible,
Yeah.
you got to be willing to either adapt or change or move on. I mean, as much as I love motorcycles and this is a culture and this is a community I want to stay involved with, I love making it my own, that thought of having it. But I ride motorcycles to clear my head, get me into nature, unplug a little bit. If I wasn't riding a Harley Davidson, I could find another brand to ride. I just choose to ride a Harley Davidson. I'm not afraid of having the thoughts that they made that and it didn't work. We had the V-Rod for 10 years we had a V-Rod. We don't have a V-Rod anymore. And guys that have V-Rods right now are complaining of how hard it is to find parts for them. So the aftermarket really didn't embrace those guys.
No.
Right?
No.
So you're always going to find Sportster parts. You're always going to find Dyna parts. You're always going to find touring bike parts. But when Harley developed the Pan America, everybody was like, what are you doing?
And now that's probably one of their most talked about motorcycles.
They own the market share. They have rivaled BMW in adventure bikes here in the United States. They have carved out a great piece of that market share for Harley Davidson. And I'm sure even inside the building of corporate Harley Davidson, there were people saying this is a mistake. I'm not going to go run and buy a Sportster S. That bike doesn't appeal to me at all. But somebody it does.
Absolutely.
And if you realize that after a few years it doesn't sell, you got to move on from it.
Yeah. But it's
at
still
the same
here.
time, if you're hearing that people wish you would bring back a old 1200 Sportster, as a company, you got to say, hey, the people want a 1200 Sporty. Let's give them one. Let's make it an icon. Let's make it let's run it for 3 years, 4 years, and see what it sells at. If it sells more than the Sportster S, which it would,
absolutely,
in a price point that makes sense.
Your blueprints are there.
You're right. I mean, you look right now. You go buy a CVO for $45,000, and it's a non-necessary vehicle in your household. What else can you buy for $45,000? Jeep, truck, a really nice luxury car. I mean, you can get a great vehicle that your whole family enjoys for $45K. If you can't, send me $45K and I'll show you what I can buy with $45K.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, I mean, that's where the craziness of price is wild to me.
Yeah. I think,
and even look at Ford. Ford doesn't sell for what it sold for a couple years ago. Every year Ford goes up. But you're going to be, this is sad and a slippery slope to say, but understanding that things cost more to make is part of being American.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to pay a little more for a 2025 or 2026 truck than my 2016 truck if it has things in it that, man, I wish my truck would. Now that I've had my truck for 10 years, I wish it had this in it. If it has that in it, and I've realized that I would enjoy that in my day-to-day, I'm willing to pay a little more for that. Am I willing to pay double today for what a truck cost me 10 years ago? I am not.
No.
I'm not. I've got a truck downstairs that I've put 235,000 miles on. We just drove it today running around.
Yeah.
I'm about to haul a boat to Florida with that truck.
Yeah.
And I would not buy, the same truck would cost me $65,000 and I paid $37,000 for that truck.
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
I don't think if I bought one it'd be twice as good. But At the same time, I understand I'm not going to go find a new one for 35.
No.
I'm not. Or 38. Or I'm sure I'm just not going to pay double the price that I paid for my truck. I mean, if my truck was 37, I'm not willing to pay 74 for the same truck. They want you to because that's the price tag of some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's twice the truck. If I'm getting twice the product, I'm willing to pay twice the money. But, prices haven't went up at the same rate as your income or anything around here, And I know we're kind of getting all over the place, but when Ford, that is a bigger global brand and probably has a lot more wiggle room for failure or to report loss than Harley Davidson, I think that advice has to be received and calculated. That's why I believe we're going to go back to seeing, and this statement's going to lead into our next topic.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to go back to seeing less inventory in shops. I think we are. I think it's a way to keep costs down. I don't think people are just going to keep buying. It was $30,000. Now it's $40,000. Is somebody going to just start ponying up for a $50,000, $60,000 CVO when they want it? If you do, great. I'm excited for you and things like that. But we're just not the same. We can enjoy the same hobby and we can enjoy the same things. I'm just not at that place in my life. And I don't think if I had $60,000 of free money that I didn't need to use for anybody else in my house, that I would go turn it over for a motorcycle that still has a motor, still takes gas, has two wheels. You twist the throttle and it takes you down the road. When I can do the same thing on a bike I paid $10,000 for and puts miles and smiles on me.
Yeah. Without a fancy paint job and speakers in the bags.
I mean, granted, if I'm wanting some more comfort, and I do think a touring bike is in my future, but I'm not going to just go let somebody browbeat me into paying a ridiculous price. I'm not opposed to finding an older one or one that's a couple years old that somebody just had the bug and they thought they had to have the newest and greatest, and they're sitting on a 24 because they had to have a 26, and I'm sitting in the fall waiting on 27s to come out. And this place is wondering how they're going to move this 24 with 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it. I'll scoop in there and get it for under 20.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
It's what's it done? It hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
So we go down this road and we seem to revisit this a lot. And we're not against pricing and we're not against capitalism. And we're just thinking, we fish a lot. And you hear everybody say, oh, you got to grow the sport. You got to grow the sport. You got to grow the sport. No, you don't. You want motorcycles the culture to grow. You take care of the people that are involved in it. Mm-hmm. And then their word of mouth and their exposure to friends and young people to something they enjoy will continue to grow that.
Absolutely.
I mean, Harley Davidson going into high schools and offering riding courses for free isn't going to put
people on bikes.
20% of those kids on bikes.
Yeah. You might get one or two.
You might get one or two, right? You're probably going to get as many parents that'll sign paper and won't let their kids do it because they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? That being said, you got to take care of your dealers. You got to take care of your customers because that all trickles down to then bikers start helping take care of bikers. You start getting this community to develop into a culture because I think people say culture and community, and I think that's totally different. I think you can have a guy that rides a motorcycle that's part of the community that doesn't want to be involved in being any part of the culture. He doesn't stop and help somebody when they're broke down. He doesn't go to a bike night. He doesn't support a local dealership. He bought a bike and now he buys all of his parts online, and he doesn't want to go to the dealership and he doesn't want to interact. He just wants to ride his motorcycle. There is room for that guy.
Absolutely.
That's community. That is community. Everybody in our community drives a different vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. But we have a Jeep and we go to Jeep things. That's a culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Automobiles are community. Jeeps are culture. That's what I'm saying. Harley Davidson has culture. And some of that culture is way off in the weeds right now. And some of it is sitting on the sideline wondering where we can get involved. And that's just how culture goes.
Yeah.
But I think we are just so, everybody's so everywhere right now.
Everybody's confused.
Your pricing and what are we doing? Are we introducing new bikes? Why are we developing these bikes that don't work? You know what? I mean, kudos to Harley for redoing the trikes. I mean, we're a few days away from the release on January 14th, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, Chapter 2, Harley Davidson. Pull back the sheets, show everybody the rest of the new models.
And then go look at them in the shop.
Kudos to them for finally doing something with trikes. Your company was built on those guys that are transitioning to trikes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you just cater all to them now, but you don't abandon those guys.
No.
You support and provide them with an opportunity to ride until they decide they shouldn't ride anymore. And then you're like, you know what? Thanks. And then you listen to all their feedback and you build better products for their grandchildren, their son-in-laws, their daughters, their daughter-in-laws, because that guy's been a biker and he's ridden for years and everybody in his family knows it and it's just a way of life around there, and that's going to rub off on somebody in his family, and he wants to hand them a heritage to a company that stood for him and took care of him. Right?
Yes.
All right, so this all goes back to, I was reading this week, there is panic. And I don't mean that understated. There are certain dealerships, and we heard this as a side comment that was kind of just glossed over when we were down at Black Sheep the other day. There is panic from a lot of dealerships right now for these 26s to hit the floor because they've got 23s.
23s still on the showroom.
24s. 25s sitting there that they can't sell. And the guy at Black Sheep we were talking to, great guy, talked to us, very informative as much as he is allowed to be. And then we are going to talk about something that really gripes my butt in dealerships.
But he straight up told us that they had no room to put their new bikes that are sitting in crates in the warehouse. They put one of every bike they had received in different colors. Mm-hmm. He said, we have a couple of those in the back, but we're not putting them together because they don't have room for them. There's 24s and 23s. There's a 23 CVO that is brand new, no miles, on the showroom floor there. They have nowhere to put any of the new bikes because they have holdovers from a bunch of 2025s, a few 2024s, and still some 23s still left behind.
So 24 CVO that they're talking about, man, they're willing to make a great deal on this bike.
Is that still 40?
There's a 23 Sportster S sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to come off of that thing significantly.
Yeah.
But if it's eating up showroom floor real estate, for somebody that's excited to come in and see, I mean, unless somebody comes in and is like, oh man, I like that, but I was hoping to see it in this color. And the guy goes, we've got it back there in the back in a crate. I can take you back there and peel it and show you the paint. And if you want to buy it, we'll put it together for you. But I just can't bring it out here on the showroom because that 25 is sitting there and we can't move it yet. And we were going to put it right there. But I've got this 26. It's not the color you want, but I've got it in the back.
Yeah.
We've got it over in the storage warehouse to put together. Give us about 3 hours and go get some lunch and come back and we'll do the paperwork and you can take it home today.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought a crate dirt bike one time for you.
Yeah.
Pulled up, told the guy I wanted it. I'd talked to him on the phone. He told me he had one. I walked in and he goes, well, you did come in today. It was snowing the day I went and got that thing. And he's like, I talked to you on the phone. I didn't know if you would come in this bad weather. He said, give me an hour. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? He goes, and he had the crate sitting in the corner. He goes, it's in the crate. I got to put it together. He's like, everything's ready. I got to put the handlebars on it, tighten up the wheels, blah, blah, blah. He goes, give me an hour. And he, we ran and got some lunch, your mom and I, and we came back and it was all put there and we started it up and he rode it around and showed us everything worked. And we put it in the truck and brought it home. But he was like, I just wasn't sure when I talked to you that you would come out in this weather. I just thought, man, this was a Monday. He's like, I figured you'd come get it on the weekend. And I'm like, nah, have you had it? I told him, I said, I'm coming to get it today. And we showed up and it was cool, but I know how those do. They get shipped. They're pretty much assembled.
Yeah.
But
front tire, handlebars.
They're not going to set them out. And different bikes come crated different ways.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they'll deliver them. You'll see them unload them off a truck, lift the box off of them, and there's the metal framing under the box. They drop it down. They basically cinch the handlebars down because they, stuff like that. They may have the bags off or whatever if you're buying a touring bike. It's not a lot to assemble it, but to assemble it and then run it through production or run it through checks to sell, what's the fluids like? What's the, how that goes? They could get it ready to sell, but I mean, if I'm a dealership and I'm sitting on bikes that are 2 years old, the facts of putting a 26 on the floor means I'm still stuck with that 2-year-old one.
Yeah.
Unless I have a corporate backing or a financing program or something that's going to allow me to not lose really bad on my end because we couldn't move a model end. And then that goes back to, is this in the days I had to buy that because there was a quota on what my inventory had to be? So I just got the bolts put to me on both ends because I can't sell this bike, and I knew it, but you told me I had to have it.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty scary for dealerships is they're sitting on inventory. I mean, what would you do there? What is the solution there?
I mean, really, I couldn't tell you what a solution is to me because you've got to sell the bike. You've got to get rid of them. I guess you're hoping somebody comes in from at either you or a sister shop calls over and says, I got somebody looking for that. Ship it over here. I mean, that's what you're hoping for. And but with no room to put 26s on the floor and you've got them in the back, but you literally can't put them together, I mean, that puts you in a state of worry for sure because you still have used bikes coming in that you've got to sell too.
Are you going to have to mark up your 26s to cover the loss when you give away that 24?
I guess you'd have to.
Somehow.
Or you're going to have to mark up some used bikes.
I mean, I just saw...
You're going to have to give terrible trade-ins.
I saw a 23 dealership outside of Indianapolis. And I was just looking to see who had 23s left because 26s are here. This place in Indianapolis, they had a sports dress. It was, a 23. Mm-hmm. And they had marked it down. I mean, if you're looking for a sports dress, you go buy that bike. But the sad thing is it tells me a lot of people aren't looking for a sports dress. Mm-hmm. So then I have a bike that's hard to sell. And now that bike's 3 model years old. I mean, are you going to take the first $8,500 that walks in as like, I mean, you've had this. Some guys watch that sit on that floor for 3 years. And he'll walk in and be like, you ready to sell that yet? You ready to sell that yet? And that guy might plan on getting it, chopping it up, or turning it into something else or whatever. Yep. Whatever.
Buy it just for the motor or something.
Are you going to sit there and watch a Nightster? They put the Nightster at under 10 grand last year. So if you're sitting on a 24 Nightster and the 25s come out at $99, $95 or whatever, and the 2024 was at 11 or $10,999, but you sold a couple 25s because you were unwilling to deal on that 24, and now somebody walks in and is like, I'll give you $7,500 for it because I know you got new ones sitting in the back. Do you eat $3,000 and hope you can sell a couple 26s with some upgrade packages?
Yeah,
or you sell an extended warranty to everybody that comes through. So you have to. You can't just lose money as a dealership.
No, because you're still running a business too.
Yep. I hate that. I hate the pressure that's on the dealerships. I hate the fact that as a company, Harley can't look at its bikes and cut them $5,000 across the board.
No.
I mean, maybe you can, but you're going to have to get production down. You can't be making,
there can't be enough to be sitting somewhere.
If you typically sell, 20,000 units of a bike in the world, you can't make 35,000 of them and just let them sit.
And let each dealership have 10.
You let each dealership have 1 or 2
at a time.
But you should have the ability in the factory to rip, hey, we've got 10 orders for road glides. You got this assembly line's going to put, York's going to put 10 Teal Thunder road glides together today. I mean, that probably happens. I don't know how many units do they put out a day of bikes. I mean, I'm sure it's out there. We can find it.
If we go back to the old days of it being like you've talked about, it was you walked in, you ordered the bike you wanted, and it was a month until you got it, and that was on your end, then I see that as being the solution. And I'm sure there's going to be some bigger dealerships that move a lot more bikes that put in the order to go ahead and have that on them. But then that's on them. That's on them.
What if you're a dealership and you do so much volume that rather than buy 15 road glides, you buy 5 road glides and 4 sets of 10s? And whatever colors if somebody comes in and they want the purple, we got a purple set of 10s, change out the 10s and the bags, and you got a purple one today.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that that's the solution.
No.
Or are you going to paint them all? You're going to paint them at your shop? You're going to get a custom paint shop if you're at dealer and you're like, hey, we can take this one, give us 2 weeks, we'll paint this one.
Yeah.
That same color. Okay. I don't think every dealership has that ability. I don't think every dealership wants that ability. But where were we? I was at Myrtle Beach, and they had a street glide. There was this wicked paint job, cool paint job. And he goes, yeah, we send our 10 sets to Arizona and have them painted. And he goes, we have these paint sets up there in a catalog where if people really want those, he goes, and I keep, I can get that 10 set. If I don't have it, I can get it in 2 weeks so we can turn people's bikes over for them, And he'll be like, oh yeah, we want that paint job. And he just takes a factory set of 10s, sends them to Arizona overnight. Mm-hmm. They ship them back. They charge the people an upgrade on the paint. But he can turn a bike and he never moves the frame. Those people have bought that frame and that VIN number, and it never left the dealership.
Yeah. I could see that being more.
I don't know. I don't know what's cost effective. But I think having the ability to say, and if you want the one that's in the showroom, I'm looking for black on black. Great, this is your bike. You sell that one, they can call and say, hey, send me another black on black.
And if you're wanting a black on black, man, I promise you there's a dealership somewhere that's got a black on black 24 or 25 still sitting there. Don't pay the new price tag for the 26. That sounds terrible to say, but if you can't find one, then go get the 26 that's coming out. But if you're wanting a black on black or such and such, I'm sure you can find it.
In the day,
and as a consumer, that's the way I think. But for Harley Davidson, that is not how they want anybody to think right now.
In the day and age where more dealerships are being owned by groups, hey, if I've got Black Sheep in Huntington, I can have these colors. But in my Bluefield shop, I'll have these colors. And if somebody comes into Huntington and wants that color, that's a pickup truck ride.
Yeah.
Give us 3 hours, we'll have it there. Hey, it's Saturday, come pick it up on Tuesday. You just trade that color up there. If I'm the Cole family of dealerships is who we deal with. They have 5 or 6 dealerships. I'm sure in that family of dealerships, around the dealerships they have in the 3 state around us area, they're going to have the color combo, because we even talked to the dealership guy about that. he talks about trading bikes out for color combos amongst their sister dealerships. Now, I'm
He said he told us he had sold more bikes from other dealerships than in their own.
He said, I'm still more for mom and pop places. I love local. I love the family-owned shop. I just love that feel. But there has to be a way to get costs down corporate, to drive price down for consumer. But I think in this fast-paced world, you're going to sacrifice convenience. But when you're buying a toy, a motorcycle is not a necessity for 99.9% of the people. When you're buying something for pleasure, if you can't delay that a little bit, I question your maturity level as a human being. Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to throw a fit?
Yeah. I
mean, you can shop multiple dealerships. Hey, I'm going to go to Huntington. I'm going to run to Morgantown. This is just for us. I'm going to run to Mothman in Parkersburg. I'm going to I'll call over to Del Barton and see. I'll call Baxter's. I'll call Powder Keg in Cincinnati. In 2.5 hours, we could be at 7 or 8 dealerships.
Yeah.
Easy.
Absolutely.
We could do a lot of the shopping. Hey, you even find it, do a deposit over the phone. I'm coming to get it. Let me put $500 on that to hold it. And if I get up there and we decide I don't want it, or we can't match the numbers, can you return my deposit? Whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to be. But I feel for dealerships. I'm excited for the 2026s, but I think financially it's kind of rough.
Absolutely.
Price tags go up. There's not enough difference between the 25s and the 26s, and people are walking in like you and I. I walk in there, I think 26s are hitting the ground, and you need to sell 26s, and you really want to sell that 2025? That should save me about $7,000, $8,000, and the wiggle room just isn't there.
No.
I mean, if you're dealing on a 10 to 15% margin on a $27,000 motorcycle, they could probably wiggle $2,700. Hey, is 25 doable? You think you're still getting the deal?
Yeah, because the new one beside it is 30.
It's 29.
Yeah.
Is it a difference of $4,000? Better? I would really like it to be, how about 22? 23? Yeah. How about 25 and I'll put your detached kit and we'll throw in your first year of maintenance. That's not costing them anything, but you're still getting an upgrade. So that's a doable thing to me. If the valuation is there, if we can get to the money I think in my head, if we can get to just that money difference, even if I get some extra stuff out of it, and I think I got that for free, mentally I'm okay with that. I know you have to make money as a dealership, but you make money on servicing bikes because labor costs are through the roof. At $200 an hour for you to work on my motorcycle?
Yeah.
You don't have to make $5,000 off every bike that goes out the door because you're making 50% markup on every part you put on.
Yeah.
Now, that's why there's more mechanics in the back than salesmen up front. That guy's making you money. This guy's just helping you bring some in. The mechanic is actually billing for a service that is revenue generating. And we all have stuff that breaks and has to be done. That's why it's way cheaper to work on your own bike if you know what you're doing or have a buddy that knows what they're doing. I'm not bashing those guys, but they do warranty work and Harley pays for all that. That dealership is recouping 100% of its costs and getting the parts for free. I mean, Harley is paying them to do that. And it's a negotiated rate. It's a rate they know, and that's what they figure on maintaining probably. That's the bottom line break-even part of if they just do warranty work of what it costs to keep their service center open. But man, when somebody brings in tires and you charge them $200 to mount and balance 2 tires for that guy to put in his truck and go home and put them on, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. When a car tire shop can do it for like $20 a wheel.
Yeah.
Come on. There's a little bit there. There's meat on that bone. But the problem is that is attached to new bike prices.
Yeah.
And that's just where we see it.
Speaking of new bike prices, bring back the price tags on the freaking handlebars.
There it is. That is my gripe. My gripe.
There's no reason that we should go in and sit there and talk to somebody and we're looking at a bike, the salesman walk up to you and go, hey guys, any questions? And I have to look at him and go, what's the price of this bike? And he goes, well, I don't know. How about we go back here and start talking about it if you're interested? No, just tell me the freaking price. I don't want to have a roundabout or be like, well, what's your price out the door? And you go, well, it might be around this depending on. No, give me a tag on the handlebar that hangs. I don't know where this went and why we quit doing this, but there should be a tag on the handlebar or on the brake lever that hangs and tells you MSRP, dock fee, licensing, and all that.
Whatever, if they've done something special to it at a dealer, at a package, just show me cost.
You can look and tell that it's got bars, give the price of the bars, and give the out-the-door price or the estimated price depending on what you add and don't add. I mean, at the end of the day, like you've said, this is for 99% of the people, it's a pleasure item, okay? You're going to haggle a little bit. Yeah, this guy might get the dock fee taken off or something of that nature. But it's a pleasure item. From the world of dirt bikes, you went in and there was a price tag on the bike. So if you were buying that dirt bike, that's what you were buying it for.
You're like, can you come off of it? Hey, we probably have $300 of wiggle room. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you have to sell me license and registration and I'm not transferring a tag, I understand that.
Yeah.
If you tell me what the state sales tax is, I understand that.
Yeah.
If you're not ashamed that of what your dock fee is until you make me sit in there with the finance guy and he says, well, that's $900. Why am I paying you $900 to print some paper off of your computer? Yeah. We're not talking assembly fee or destination fee. We're talking documentation because you're going to print something out that I have to sign and then you're going to go file it at the courthouse, which is a digital transaction now. Come on. Come on. It's ridiculous.
We want to know what we're paying up front. I don't want to have to go and sit and talk down and listen to somebody try to make me run a credit application for them to tell me the price is more than I want to pay for it. Just let me know up front before that way I can sit there and go, hey, to the salesman, can this come off? And he says, I think so. How about I go ask somebody real quick? And he comes up and says, hey, if you're interested in really wanting to wheel and deal today, there might be some room to come off. And I think, you know what? I am kind of willing to wheel and deal today. So I go sit down, and the guy's like, without running a credit application, this, and this might be able to work doing, depending on what your standpoint and how good you are at arguing about a price tag and whatnot and haggling. And then from there, you decide, let me run a credit app and see how well this does and this changes. And then he can tell you, hey, you're better off or right at what you wanted. And then you're buying a motorcycle.
Well, you go in and the salesman at some of the places is basically just your entry point of contact. That guy's not allowed to give you the price. But he
tells you, hi, how are you?
It tells you all the stuff about the bike. And I'm like, well, what's the price on this? Oh, we're selling it at MSRP.
What's the MSRP?
Are we at MSRP on Harley or are we on MSRP of what you think we're talking about? Are we talking about, you want me to sit here and pull out my app on my phone for Harley Davidson to tell you what I think this bike should be worth? No, because you're going to say, well, let me go talk to the sales manager. And the first thing he's going to want to know is, am I putting money down? Well, do you have any money to put down or do you have a trade-in? I'm not giving you that information because you didn't give me the information of how much the thing costs.
Yeah.
Just put a price tag. If you're not ashamed of what you're trying to charge somebody, you're going to advertise the price.
Yeah.
We're all trying to buy something. We wouldn't come in there if we weren't looking to buy something. We can all say, we're just looking. We're looking to buy. We're looking to plan to buy.
Yeah.
Please, just put price tags on your bikes. It helps us. It lets us know. It will weed out people that aren't serious about buying, sticker shock's real. If you ever went in and paid sticker for a car, I mean, you got to know the sticker price before you can get to what your dealing price is, right? If you're a dealership that doesn't empower your floor salesman to interact with people and give them a price or something that they can at least know what they're dealing with before they go into a finance guy, you send me in there to a finance guy and he starts talking numbers I wasn't even anticipating, then I'm on edge. I'm very defensive. I'm not rude. I'm just like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Your first statement to me is $5,000 more than that guy out there on the floor
And
said,
I've done
and
that.
There's no reason to be.
And I want to put this out there firsthand. Make sure the numbers add up with what the price tag says is the out the door price. When I sit down, and I've experienced this, and I'm not going to share where or on what, but literally just went through this last year. If I sit down to actually decide to fill out the paperwork, and then you tell me at the end as I'm getting ready to sign the dotted line what the price is, and it's $1,500 more than what I plugged in exactly what you told me on a phone calculator, and I turn around and show it to you and say, this is the fees and the pricing of what you've just told me, and that's what this is supposed to cost, and you look me in the eyes and go, yeah, that's just not going to work, I'm getting up and leaving.
Yeah.
Which is what I did.
Yeah.
And everybody thought I was the butthole in that scenario. But make sure your numbers add up and the math is mathing.
Yeah, it's simple numbers. It's money. It's product. We all buy things every day. We expect there to be price. We expect there to be, when you make a purchase like that, haggling is just kind of part of it. But you can't be apples and oranges or you can't make an informed decision when you can't get information. And the easiest thing to do is go in there, look at the bike, you see a sticker, you see the price, and you're like, I wonder if what that price is around me, is that a fair price? I might go home and do some research. If it's within an hour and a half drive of my house, if I can save $1,500, that might be worth it. If it's not worth it by the time I pay the extra taxes, then I go in there educated on what the market, I'm like, hey man, you know what? I saw, if you're charging this, and I'm not beating you down, but an hour from here, the guy has this bike with less miles and it's $1,000 cheaper. Any way we can get to that price, I'd love to buy it here local and not drive an hour and a half, but I'll sure do it. I've bought trucks like that before.
Yeah.
Had a local dealership that was really, I really wanted to stay with the business, and I had negotiated a better deal away. And when we sat down, he's like, what's the holdup? And I had all the communication on my cell phone. I was like, here are emails. Here is our final paperwork. This is their appraisal for my trade-in. This is I've done all this over the phone and through pictures. Mm-hmm. I was like, but I came in here I drive by this dealership every day to work. So if I need service, I'm going to use it here. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, well, I can match that. But the salesman he was like, I can't even go ask my manager this price. And I'm like, I know. So anyway. All right. That being said, we've had a good show. This was fun. We didn't even know what we were really going to talk about other than a tire. Go ahead and take us out, Big Z.
Yeah, that's all for today's episode, guys. We got into the weeds a little bit. We heard a little bit of what gripes me and Dad. So we hope you agree with our gripes. Maybe let us know a gripe that you have in the comments. But that's all for today's episode, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're Bikers and Backroads on Instagram and TikTok, so check those out. B&B _ pod on X or Twitter. And then, continue to watch us on the YouTube channel. If you're already looking at us, then you've found us. But more videos to come other than just podcast episodes. And, be watching out for everything we're doing in the future, starting off 2026. But we'll holler at y'all later.
You guys stay safe and be blessed. See ya.